Sacha, Clive, Huiming, thank you so much for joining Hot Topics and Soldo for this C-suite exchange. For the live audience watching this, for any audience members who'll be watching this on video on demand, my name is Peter Stojanovic. I am the editor of Hot Topics, and delightfully, Hot Topics will be with Soldo enjoying a CFO 100 campaign and award for the first time ever. And many of you I know recognize that Hot Topics have a fulsome community for tech leaders, CIOs, CTOs, data, digital security leaders, and an engaged B2B marketing community too. We recognize, however, that the value that the C-suite holds and its thought leadership and movement forward has to include more of those executives from different functions. And the CFO, of course, is critical, not just to the financial security of an organization, but its growth trajectory and success too. So I personally think this is an excellent opportunity for us to not just highlight the CFO role, but really isolate the top 100 globally who are doing some fantastic work for the organizations and for their function too.
The CFO position is cross-functional in reality, because from the CFO position, you have the ability to look down and across the organization into each division and help each division basically to have them being performing and have them contributing most to the journey of the organization. So this cross-functional savviness is something that I think makes the job very interesting and is very helpful.
The CFO that I'm looking for is actually two words: critical friends. Okay, be the business critical friends. And then the reason I say so, because friends means, like to Sacha's point, being able to support all the initiative that the company wanted to drive, being the co-pilot, to your CEO and so all the other business functional leader, but at the same time having a critical lens to look at things independently.
But I think the growth agenda has become much more important over recent years. The ability of finance leaders to be able to understand entrepreneurship, growth, ambition, to be able to support that through more dynamic reporting, forecasting, planning operations. I think that's a really good emerging role. And I think certainly as I look at that, it is right up there now with that sort of sustainability, the longevity of an organization as well.
At a certain level, I think the technical skill is kind of a given, so that we put that aside. And then
I agree.
In addition, I think what is more important is having the right talent on the team. Because sometimes as a CFO, you may not know all the accounting rules, the details, technical tax or transfer pricing. But if you are able to hire the best talent onto your team and put the right people in the right position so that you can have the headspace to think about strategic matters, is another very important attribute to bridge the technical skills gap versus the strategic thinking side of the story.
When it comes to data, I think we are very well prepared as a CFO to deal with data, because we always had a lot of data, even before other teams had the data. I think the thing that now is a bit different is that the data has to be available quite instantly. And this brings a lot of complexity when it comes to the data structure. Who is the data owner and who shares the data, and what is the level of transparency in the same within an organization?
A CFO in a startup environment, finding the investment, trying to make sure cash flow are still surviving for the company is probably like paramount, versus a CFO who is steering a company who is already scaled up, very mature. So in this case, it's more about optimization, right? How do we drive the company forward and doubling profitability and revenue? In
whatever organization CFO is working, I think we can look on the career of someone. We can look and see where there are additions to the role, because this is kind of a proof that the individual has a growth mindset. If we see the role evolving by adding some new responsibility year after year, then I think it's kind of a proof that the individual has a growth mindset, which is, I think, a key thing, especially those times. Part of the CFO role is basically helping others to make their job, supporting others, and being a team player. But sometimes team player does not mean a lot as just a buzzword. Team player in the sense of CFO is basically cross-functional understanding and ability to help the others and make it happen.
During my time as a within finance of my career, you've seen the role of a more sort of commercial, strategic business partner than before, which was more of a hygiene role, making sure that the numbers were correct. It was an audit principle. It was defensive mechanism. So I think CFOs have secured themselves a place, as the business partner, the critical friend that we've been talking about. And I think that's such an important piece. I think the going beyond that is actually really helping, the links into the rest of the business, making sure that you have the empathy and understanding of the roles that also occupy that top table, whether they're in sort of sales or operation, marketing, HR, IT. It's the ability to really understand those other agendas.
How do we really drive the talent pipeline? Because when we say, okay, the best CFO, the one elements of it is how do we also make our team the best mini CFO? Because they are all working, either in my context, I'm the regional CFO, like my team is supporting similar role in their sub-region, in their country. So how can we, as a CFO leader, cultivate the environment to have the team that can also serve as a mini CFO, no matter what level that they are playing a role in the organization. So upscale their capability so that the whole organization from top to bottom can then elevate together.
When we look at what's coming in front of us, we have an economy that is still not booming, let's call it at least this way. We have a lot of uncertainty coming from elections all over the globe and different political things that are happening. So I think one of our key mission as a CFO for the end of this year and next year is basically making sure that we put a lot of energy in helping the business to grow. It takes a bit of organization and structure, meaning I think that there is a requirement to have a clarification about what an organization thinks is ethical or not through a code of conduct or a set of rules. And it does not need to be a very extensive set of rules, but having a few pages of describing what the company values are and what is expected in terms of ethical behavior is something that I think is very key, because then it's kind of anchoring the set of rules, and then it allows interpretation, obviously. And when it comes to interpretation, I think there is only one way to make sure it happens, is have the right leaders with the right behavior, because all this is about role modeling.